So here in the West Country we have quite high rainfall, we have quite steep farmland as well, and so a lot of those areas, if they're left bare of soil when it's raining, all that soil can get washed into the rivers. In some rainfall events we might be talking about hundreds of tons of soil, and of course that's valuable soil being lost from farmland. In the rivers it's damaging, it takes a lot of pollution with it, it starts to clog spawning gravels, which is bad for fish as well, and of course at the end of the estuary it needs to be dredged out again so they can maintain navigation. We have a mapping team who will look at GIS layers, so topography, land use, soil type and rainfall patterns, and that helps us to understand where the worst areas of soil erosion are likely to be. And then we also have a team of farm advisors who can go and talk to farmers and help them understand how best to keep the soil on their land rather than letting it go in the rivers.
So we work with farmers within the catchment and we generally provide free and confidential advice. So we'll go and visit the farm, have a good walk of the fields, discuss what their current cropping is, what livestock they have. In particular, in regards to soil, we can look at how the soil is managed, what crops they grow, and then we can try and provide advice on improving the condition of those soils, what things they can do to improve the health of that soil and reduce soil loss. So we can look at different things. We can look at how steep the field is, and we can look at the erosion risk of that field and whether the crop should be grown there. And then if the crop is grown there, we can look at things like putting a border around the edge of the field or a margin or a buffer zone, and that helps capture soil and sediment loss. Yeah, so a healthy soil will act more like a sponge, so it's able to absorb water. It's much more resilient to changes, whereas a compacted soil will be much harder, perhaps more like a stone in comparison.
We, for the sediment chain that was running into the river, we dug the 2 sediment pools that are here now. All the sediment that's caught, we clean out in the summertime once a year. We'll drain the pools out, take the sediment out, spread it on the fields and plough the fields up. So we're putting the nutrients and the topsoil back in the farm. So we're not losing any nutrients or topsoil down in the river. For a small investment, it seems to be paying off very well. It's good for us, for the environment and for the rivers. It's a win-win situation, really.
I think over the last 30-40 years farming practices have changed a lot, so they're growing different crops now, so maize and potatoes with much bigger machinery which can lead to soil compaction. All those things can lead to soil being more vulnerable to erosion, so that's a big change that we're trying to work against. Also with climate change now we're getting more intense rainfall and then longer drier periods, so again that can leave the soil more vulnerable to being washed away in those heavy rainfall events. It takes hundreds of years to create just a small layer of topsoil, so once that's gone it's very hard to get it back. And also once that sediment has left the farmland and is in the rivers, it's then classed as a waste if you take it out. So you're into a whole minefield of legislation to do anything useful with that sediment. So it's by far the best solution is to keep it on the land where it belongs. This is a long-term problem that's been building up for years and years. It's not going to turn around overnight, that's for sure, but we are seeing a lot more awareness around the condition of soil and how beneficial that is for lots of different things.